Episode 1 of Why Everything's So Expensive, we are talking about Georgism. The year is 1870. A young man named Henry George embarks from San Francisco over to New York City. Back then, San Francisco was not very developed. He comes to New York City and sees all this wealth, and he sees so much poverty. Why do I live in San Francisco? There's no poverty. I come over here where there's been so much progress. Does poverty follow it? He's saying it was a total paradox. So he goes into the lab and he's like, yo, I think I know what's going on here. All the landowners, they have a monopoly on land. So what's going on is land is a fixed value. And when you have a community like this, there's only so much space that you can build shit on. And what's happening is as society progresses and as you build roads and as you build infrastructure, people that own plots of land are unfairly accruing profit, not from work that they've done, but from work that everybody else in the community has done. He wanted to figure out a way to remedy that. And what he proposed was something called the land value tax. He said, look, I don't think we should be taxing people on their income. We should be taxing the land value. We should be encouraging people to build on their land. We should be discouraging people from sitting on an empty lot. And how do we do that? We raise the land tax. And you might be saying, Garrett, look, we already have a land tax. It's called the property tax. What's the difference? I'm going to tell you the difference. I'll use an example from Canada, back in my hometown in Newmarket, Ontario. In Ontario, we have property taxes, and what happens is they have these people that work for the government that go around surveying land, and they don't just assess the value of the plot. If you build a house on the plot, or you build a fucking apartment building like behind me or something, they say, hey, okay, the plot of land's worth $100,000, but the building's worth $1 million, so we're giving you a property tax bill on $1.1 million. Whether you have a fucking apartment on it or not, the land value tax is fixed. What the land value tax says is whether you build on the land or you don't build on the land, both plots of land are worth the same value to the community. It's a subtle but important difference. Going back to Newmarket, Ontario, where I grew up, the main street at Main Street in Davis, there was a gas station like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And as part of economic development, they've flattened the gas station and it's an empty plot of land. Over the last probably 5 or 10 years, there has been millions of dollars poured into Newmarket, Ontario's downtown core, kind of revitalizing the downtown core. This whole fucking time, that plot of land has been empty and it's for sale. There's a big fucking red for sale sign on it. I think he's trying to sell it for $3.3 million. So it's been empty for 10 years. Henry George says, yo, dude, what the fuck? This is totally unfair. You're taking everybody's fucking tax dollars here, putting in new skating rinks, you're putting in signs, you're putting in infrastructure, they've got a bus route, there's a hospital down the street, and you have left your plot of land empty. That plot of land, by the way, is big enough to probably house, I don't know, 40 or 50 people, and it's empty. You can't fucking force somebody to build on land, but what you can do is force somebody out who's not building on the land. There's also opportunity costs of leaving that land empty. For example, when you move in 40 or 50 people onto a plot of land, they're spending money, they're getting their hair cut, they're going to the pizza parlor, they're attending the local school. They are a massive economic benefit to the community that goes unrealized. And now this guy's gonna sell an empty plot of land for $3.3 million and get all the fucking profit from the community that has been developed around it. I'm not saying I know what the answer is here, because I will say, as I've been kind of digging into why shit is so expensive, like, look, 1870 was a long time ago. We have things like the automobile that created sprawl. We have things like the internet. We have things like social media. How fucking quick can we exchange ideas? When you're watching this video now, I probably said these words like 2 hours ago and you're watching it in another fucking part of the planet. You probably can't just get away with just a land value tax. But what you really want to do is supplement, reduce income taxes so you're not taxing people for earning more money, and raise land value taxes, not property taxes, would be political suicide in Canada. I am aware of that. There is so much inertia in the status quo. There is so much money in the status quo. But as I've been digging into why things are so fucking expensive, Henry George and Georgism was one of the rocks I've overturned.